Welcome to Squishy Music and Guitar, the Harley Benton build. Part 5 maybe now, I'm not sure. But finished shaping the neck. And I'm finished, it's sanded all the way down to 400 now. Feels awesome. I still have a little bit more of 400 sanding to do, some of the details in. I went through the tape and got a few little scratches in the finish here, so I'm going to have to repair that. I glued the top solid. Remember in the early video the top wasn't glued solid, so I repaired that and got some new tuning heads. So first off, let me start by explaining what it is I'm doing. So this is what I am actually doing. This is the first new guitar I've ever bought in my life. It's the first Chinese guitar I've ever seen in my life, and I was curious. Plus, I am bored because I am in transition and I need a project. So I don't have my tools and facilities to paint, so I was not able to build a guitar from kit form. So I bought one of these for 200 bucks because I just mostly wanted the wood, and the fact that it was already painted and finished was extra. So that's why I have this. My goal with this is to make it as good as I possibly can make it. So fix anything that's funky with it, put all hardware I'd put on something that I built, and see how good I can make it. Just curious. Plus, it was interesting. I've never seen a Chinese guitar. I've never played a Chinese guitar. I have seen people review them and was just curious how they could make something so cheap. So I wanted to take it apart and see what was up with these things. Try to see how close I can make it to a 335 by putting pretty much all 335 stuff on it and fixing all the little shortcuts they took as good as I possibly can. All in, it'll be about 400 bucks, 450 bucks maybe. Way better than just an Epiphone, and it'll be like completely, like everything on it will be first class. It'll be set up and really good fret job and everything. So I want to know how good it will be. So here's some misunderstandings I'll go through. Cheap guitar has cheap parts. What a big surprise. A good pickup set costs as all the full HB guitar. Ha ha ha. Yes, I know cheap guitar has cheap parts, which is why I plan to throw all the parts away. And I know that a pickup set costs as much as the guitar. That's what's so amazing about it. How can you get this for $200? Just even putting in the binding and gluing that's like a ton of work. I've already got 2 full days shaping and sanding the neck. I've spent more time sanding the neck than they spent building this whole thing. So yes, I know it's a cheap guitar. That's what made me so interested in it. Don't you see? See? Okay. And another one. You are blaming the guitar for the fact that you live in a place not fit to keep it right. How silly. I don't understand that. I'm not blaming the guitar. I think it's awesome. And I think the company's awesome. The only problem I had with the guitar was the fact that the top wasn't glued to the block. See, the block, I fixed it. That was it. I didn't know if it was unglued. It turns out that the top was not distorted. The top had the shape. It was the block shaped incorrectly, so I didn't want to clamp the top and distort it. So I used an expanding polyester glue. So that expanded and filled in the gaps. Remember the tapping thing that I did before? I was all hollow here. Fixed. It's fixed. That thing used to sound like this. Now it does not. So I repaired it. And Thorman Music stood by their product, and they gave me a full refund for the guitar store credit. So actually, all I'm really going to be spending on this is for the parts. So I'd say, yes, this cheap guitar is so far really awesome, and I'm not blaming it for anything. Okay, so this guy got it, I thought. Apart from a few bad construction matters you highlighted, one would expect pot switches and hardware to be, as you described, cheap. This is because the whole guitar is cheap. No Gibson, with all the better quality fittings, is worth the 300% markup in price that is charged. It's more than 300%, but quite a bit more than 300%. 335, I think, around $3,000. This is $200. 300% would be $600, and shoot, I'll take that. If you replaced all the dodgy parts with Gibson fittings, the guitar would theoretically be a decent instrument, but would still cost less than half of what an expensive Gibson would be. See, he gets it. It'll cost way less than half. Way less than half. That's what I'm trying to do. Having said that, I've tried, in a shop, brand new 335s and Les Pauls that had wonky fretboard inlays and bubbles of glue seeping onto the board with crookedly fitted block inlays. I have too. That's my point also. All of my Gibsons, I've had to take apart and do all of the same work, with the exception of I don't replace any of the hardware because all the hardware is good. But yeah, I have to finish Gibsons for them. So, I agree. Someone like me, who has none of your expertise, can notice obvious flaws in a brand new guitar costing thousands of dollars, so I would expect parts and fittings to be cheap in a cheap guitar costing less than $500. I also agree. Thanks for a review, but perhaps you expect too much in a cheap guitar. Oh, and that's where I don't expect too much. This is what I knew I was getting. So I don't know why I do such a bad job being clear. But I'm fixing it now. And here's a popular one with 8 thumbs up. I don't see the point of this video. It's like buying a really cheap car and complaining that it's not a Porsche. I like this guy because he said Porsche. He knows he didn't say vet. Those in the know, if you know, you know. I am buying a cheap car, putting a bunch of good parts on it, and asking a Porsche to race. That's what I'm doing. I didn't go, damn it, I didn't get a 335 for $200. I got ripped. No. I'm buying a $200 guitar. I don't plan on beating the Porsche. I just plan on keeping up with it. That'd be good. But actually, I'll bet you that this will play better after I do all the fretwork and stuff, because unless it's a custom shop 335, if it's an off-the-shelf one, I guarantee you the nut will be cut too high. So this will play better. I don't know. Really, I don't know. I don't know how it'll sound. It'll be quirky, that's for sure. And this guitar officially has a name now. It is now the Fibson 334. So that's where we're at. So, also, just got these. Kluson Revolution machine heads. Like, these things are bitchin'. They move so smoothly. Oh my goodness. These things are awesome. It's machined very nicely. I ordered some other ones first from some brand I didn't know. Turns out they were made in China and they were garbage, so I sent them back. Because I couldn't find any of these that had screw-in collars, but I found these ones. Stu Mac had them. So just like you barely turn this and you can feel it move. There's no slop. Bearings are nice and they're locking. So these are actually better tuners than my Les Paul has. So I got these now because I got to put these on. I filled all of the holes with dowels. There you go. Lastly, I have to do fine tune these little edges, a few little spots with 400, and then mount the tuners. So I got to drill holes for those, and then I can spray the front of the headstock black again. I'm going to use lacquer, and then this is all going to be lacquered as well. But before that, I have to do a grain raise, which I will cover later. Because even just touching it with sweaty hands, I can feel that it's getting some tooth coming up. So that's where we're at with this one. Right on.